How's the training? How are you feeling for
Um,
in
yeah,
general?
it's the training's going well. It's moving forward, I should say. So it is sporadic. I am getting more of routine and noticing things more. So slightly abstract in that I had to take the car to the garage and I had to walk, and I haven't walked for quite a bit because it's usually cycling or whatever. And then it's like, oh, I can actually feel the muscles in the back and everything. So you start, I think the training
Mhm,
makes you more aware
mhm.
of your own body and the muscles and the individual muscles, was before you didn't notice it, you just did it. Was now you become much more, um, I keep saying aware, but much more thoughtful of how you're doing a movement.
Mhm.
Whereas before you just did it. And I know from previous experience, when you just do something, it's a bit like doing pull-ups or chin-ups. If you want to bang out the reps, technique goes out the window and it's not good for you, but you
Yeah.
do the reps. So the training with yourself sort of things make me more aware of what's going on, slowed everything down, made me more conscious, more aware of what I'm doing, and actually you do get a better end result
Mhm.
than focusing on number of reps or how much weight you're using.
Mhm.
So it is a completely different mind shift.
Mhm.
I would say probably paradigm shift or whatever you want to call it, doing your method as opposed to the usual method, what people advise you on.
Mhm. And what would you say the benefit of that is?
I
Gaining
think
that awareness and
yeah, the benefit of doing the training as sort of you suggest, sort of thing, is that you're much less likely, I've found, to get injured or tired or soreness.
mm-hmm.
So you become more, you can do more with less consequences or adverse consequences. So
Mm-hmm.
it's literally about the word control. And I've just got to laugh because, again, jumping around. So I do a lot of teaching, and it was going a bit off on the piece, shall we say, in the class. So these are all sort of qualified dentists, and it's with the special forces guys, and they just come up and whisper, "Take control," and you just get the goosebumps because they're for them everything is about control. So if you're doing any drills or anything, you slow it down, and once you've got the process, then you increase the speed or the reps or the weight. But it's all
Mm-hmm.
about getting technique first and
Mm-hmm.
then advancing. Yeah.
Very true, very true. So, you know, before we started working together, right?
Mhm.
What did you believe was the real problem, for your
Yeah.
issues?
So before we started working together, I would say I just thought it was flexibility for myself
Mm,
because over a desk all day, or I'm bent over looking into someone's mouth all day, or I'm on the bike all day.
mm-hmm,
And everyone tells you, oh, get massages and
mm,
do stretching. And I kept doing that. And literally 30, 40 years, it isn't getting any better.
mm,
And then I started going numb in one hand. And it's like, oh, hang on a minute. Is this like another stroke? Had an MRI, and it was no, it's part of the cervical vertebrae pinching the nerve. So then it's like, well, I've got to do something. And that's when I thought, well, I'll try your approach.
mm,
And yeah, it's worked. So it's altered the posture. And again, you alter your posture, you alter your mindset and everything as well.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because before you were probably trying more, like you said, stretching and massage, like different drills, right?
Correct. Yeah, different drills. And it's like who you surround yourself with
Mm.
is what you become. And everybody's got those little pneumatic massage guns or trigger balls or do this stretch, do that stretch. I don't know, or foam rollering, that's the other favorite.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like I'm doing this every day and it's making a little bit of difference, but I'm still having the same problem. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
sort of doing the exercise is what you prescribe. I must admit, when you first start, you're thinking, you feel like a complete idiot. You think, what am I doing? Like the dumb waiter sort of thing. And you
Yeah.
think, okay, I trust you. Let's just go with it, do what she says. And then slowly you think, oh, I can feel this having an effect. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So would you say actually there's like a specific drill movement or maybe the approach that you just mentioned that really changed how you feel right now and how you move right now from working with me?
I would say the specific movement for me was doing the T's and Y's.
Mm,
'Cause
mm-hmm,
I need something to pull my shoulders back.
mm-hmm.
And again, family history. Grandfather, he was a miner, so he's got the buffalo. Mum's got it.
Yeah.
We're all like that. And I thought, I don't want to go older down that route, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing was fixing it. It was just those simple exercises. And you start thinking, oh, this feels different during the day. And you start to catch yourself during the day.
Mm,
Hang on, this posture's not quite right. Oh, anterior pelvic tilt again. So
mm-hmm. And
just,
slouching, right? We were
yeah,
talking about reading, right? Or even
yeah,
finishing a bike ride. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel, apart from obviously the physical changes, do you think something else changed, like how you approach life maybe in terms of, your confidence or even now you're planning, to go around Mallorca? I
Yeah,
really want to see photos from that,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
No, I mean, I think I mean, I do believe your confidence or mindset, the brain and the body are just connected. But again, from my profession, shall we say, we we focus, we split it, and we're too rational, and it's a bit like gut feeling as well. And I've noticed, if you stand tall, shoulders back, psychologically you feel better, you can take on the day. So it's not doing your routine, shall we say, or your drills. It's not just about having a more resilient, flexible, stronger body. It does affect your mindset as well. You feel more confident in yourself. You
Mhm.
feel like when you enter a room, you have confidence. You can, take control of that room. You can read the room. You feel a lot better like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And like you said earlier as well, because it's not about just, oh, you do this drill 3 times a week and everything is fixed, right?
Mm.
It's like you said, you gaining that control over your body, meaning you know when you should adjust and what to adjust your body to,
Yeah.
right? Why do you think that is important? So not just like doing one drill after another and then forgetting about it and moving on, but
Yeah.
being able to just have that autonomy and have that control, right? Even though I'm not like constantly watching your
Yeah.
posture, how you train 24/7.
Mm. So I think you do become more self-regulating from doing, and so the way your system works is where you do the videos and upload them, you're getting feedback, and then you become self-regulatory from
Mm-hmm.
your feedback, and you become, yeah, you're just more mindful of what's going on. You just have a general presence of what your body is doing. And I've noticed it on the bike, because I never used to do core, I hated doing
Yeah.
core. And I've noticed, especially climbing and you're sat, or you've got to put the power down, you're planted. And the famous cyclist, I mean, everyone goes on about Pogacar, but if you look at Roglic, so
Mm-hmm.
he's a Slovenian ski jumper, originally,
Mhm.
and the way he rides, he's solid, and it only comes from the core. So I have noticed the times are getting better, the powers are getting better because from that rigid core, you can move on.
Exactly, because we kind of, especially in the beginning, so like 6-ish months ago, we started working on like your deep core, the deep stabilize and everything, right? I didn't necessarily tell you, okay, so if you're a cyclist, let's strengthen your legs or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because you are proper strong, right? But like you're saying right now, it's actually about these little things, the foundational things that allow you to then really utilize your current strength, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's the typical old-fashioned way is that to get faster, ride more. And there's some truth in it, but you must reach a limit of how big your muscles can get or the limit. And then there's Miguel Indurain recently. He said, "Oh, in the old days, we just had a ham sandwich, and you made sure you ate it before you hit. We didn't have nutritionists and all of this. So things do move, things change. Um, and I think because of your belief in the system, it makes you take notice and think, well, okay, I've tried this before, it hasn't worked. I'll try this system. And yeah, you are forceful is the wrong word, but strong in will to guide you,
Hmm.
to nudge you into doing it this way, because obviously you've got lived experience to know it works and the power of reflection over that time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And what I was going to ask you is because obviously we coming to like the end. I hate the end. The how would you call
Mm.
it in a more positive way? You know,
Well, it's just a pause, really, isn't it?
exactly, yeah.
Interlude.
Of like, working together. Um,
Yeah.
and do you feel like you regain some of that control over your body equals life pretty much. So that even though now we're not going to be working together like one to one anymore, even with like maybe my help like once in a while, or even like you Googling something, do you feel like from day one to where you are right now, you've learned how to actually look for the right information, how to assess it, and then how to apply it to your everyday life so that it works for you, so that you don't just follow a plan, let's say blindly, but you have that power
Mm.
so that you know what to do exactly.
Yeah. So I think doing the course, shall we call it, makes you more open and mindful to what your body is doing.
Mm,
So then you question. So if somebody says do X, Y, and Z, you're more in tune with what your body's doing and whether it's working or whether it's hindering you, and having that power to of reflection because you're more conscious of what's going on. I think it's quite
mhm,
powerful.
mhm, mhm. So do you feel like even though we finished our program, let's call it, is it quite different to let's say a rehab 6-week rehab program that comes to an end and you kind of have no idea what to do now and you're left alone? Do you feel a
Yeah.
bit different?
Yeah. So I think when you come to the end of the course, you're left with more insight and more knowledge. Whereas other courses that I've done, it's just like, that's it.
Mm,
Whereas this is more behavior management change deep
mm,
inside. So again, it's just maybe the wrong word, but you're just more aware of what's going on. And I say the other courses, you just stop and peter out, shall we say. You just don't continue. As now, it's like, oh, I felt the benefit. I can see the benefit. I'll continue. I've got more skills, more tools in my toolbox. And like I say, it's sort of more, I would call it an interlude because you think, well, okay, it's like the old-fashioned cinema. We'll just change the reel So there's a little break and then come back in the future for a refresher, so to speak.
Exactly. Makes me really happy, because that's exactly my goal with anyone that I work with, because I was thinking about it the other day. I was trying to come up with one thing that we do once in our lives, and then it just stays that way, and we don't have to do anything about it to like maintain it. And I couldn't come up with anything like that. I was thinking, okay, you have a job. Well, you have to keep working to maintain it, right? You build a house, you have to keep cleaning it and repairing it and wherever, right? You do 5 pull-ups. You don't do 5 pull-ups and then you stop them and you still have that 5 pull-ups. You have to
Yeah.
consistently work on yourself and change your bad habits to good habits that actually are very sustainable and lead you to your goal that is obviously living a very healthy life. But it isn't that you do something once, like, let's
Yeah.
say 6 months of working with me and then you forget about it and then you move on, right?
So what I found was what I've come across is putting your future self needs
Mm-hmm.
ahead of your current needs.
Mm-hmm.
And the example was, for example, winter's coming up, put some £20 notes or just putting your clothes out ready for the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
So when next morning comes, you get that dopamine hit and you're like, oh, cheers, mate. I'm You become your own dopamine. And then all of a sudden discipline disappears
Mm-hmm.
because you become self-reliant on yourself for that. And yeah, it's a hack I heard, and it takes a little bit of time to get into it, but all of a sudden, all those things you don't want to do, but you should, there's no resistance anymore because in the next day you'll just get that dopamine hit, and you're like, oh, it's almost like having a twin brother or butler that's done it all for you, sort of thing.
Yeah,
And doing your course sort of teaches you that because everyone's busy and you don't want to do it. All I would say is just go through the first few days or weeks, then you'll feel that benefit,
yeah.
and then you don't need discipline. You want to do it.
Exactly, because then you just become that person, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't
Yeah.
have to be trying constantly to like, oh, seek motivation, like, oh, maybe
Mm.
one day I'm finally going to be disciplined and motivated. And no, you just become that. And obviously there's certain things that like tools, I would like to call them, so that you can make that journey easier for you. Like you say, for example, prep the clothes, right? Because it's going to be dark and gloomy in the morning. Yeah, you won't want to know, or go for that run or whatever. But when everything is like, when you make everything easier for you, it just becomes easier, right?
Yeah.
It just becomes part of your life. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's that everything's screaming at you, don't do it. I don't want to do it. It's almost like being a small child. And then you just think, well, just wait how you're going to feel after.
exactly.
And again, people do cold baths and everything, or cold shower. Everything screams at you, but you've got to block out your feelings. And it's a bit like I think it was a Shaolin monks do a thing
Hmm.
about rain, about feeling come and go. It's not the truth.
Yeah,
Block that out, think of the future, and then when you do it, remember how you resisted, and it just gets easier and easier.
exactly. Exactly. Wow, beautifully put.
Oh,
I love this. I love this, because I think, especially when we think about, chronic stiffness and pain, we just wanna, we we see it as something like this burden, right? Like you have to do so many because there's so much information out there, right? So it's really difficult to pick
yeah,
from. And what should I pick? What should I do? What should I not do? So then we get like overwhelmed by the amount of information, the amount of things that we should be doing. But
mm,
then you obviously have to find the way that works for you, that you can maintain, make it sustainable, but also think about your goal, prioritize your health and your well-being, and then
yeah,
everything just comes into one place, right? And then you're not working against you, but your life works like with you and for you for the same goal, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, just so much information. It is literally paralysis by analysis because, yeah, where do you
Exactly.
start?
There's so much out there, That's why I'm saying like I don't have a list of exercises for you that the best in the world, because I do believe maybe someone has actually better exercise, someone has worse, whatever that is, right? My goal is to just teach you how to use that information for your own benefit, right? So you don't get overwhelmed, but you actually benefit from it and that you can use forever. Because
Yeah.
I think that is our current struggle. Not that we don't have enough information. I think we
Mm.
have too much information. We just don't know how to use it anymore, right?
Yeah. And I think, it's too much information, but people are brought up with failure is bad.
Yeah,
So they don't want to try. And it's like, well, if you don't try, you're not going to know. So failure is actually good because
yeah,
you're learning something. And so I've tried the stretching, the foam rolling, doing all the weights, blah, blah, blah. And I know it doesn't work. So why don't you try this? Because
exactly.
you've got nothing to lose. You'll just gain information. So it's
Exactly.
worth trying the program. Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is just stay in the same loop, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it here, like, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Simple as that, right?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like getting perspective. Sometimes you've got to, if you don't move, you ain't getting a different viewpoint or different perspective. So again, looking, a sniper can only see down that tiny target. So they have a spotter
Exactly.
to view the whole situation because there's all this other stuff that's interconnected, but we become too laser focused, not willing to try because you're too scared of failure. And that's why, yeah, no one moves forward.
Yeah, and that's what's stopping us from succeeding actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fear of failure. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I think you actually introduce yourself in the group chat, right? On the
Yeah.
app with other people. Yeah. So, I'm gonna keep you in there. So if you have any questions, like always drop a comment, like a
Yeah.
question down there. Obviously you have access to all the exercise and videos and stuff, and I'll just try to keep it updating. And yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite excited for it because it's like, wow, it's quite a global community you've got going there, sort of thing.
right? Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
And I
It's
never
just,
actually thought about it, let's just connect everyone because I have people, from literally Australia,
yeah.
to West Coast, and everything in between. Um, so yeah, it's
I
it's it's
mean,
quite cool.
again, I mean, I haven't done any marketing courses or business courses, but having a global presence, I think, enhances your reputation,
Mm.
so to speak. Because I mean, when I say, well, I don't know who you are, oh, I like the style of your videos because I think it was like a black, you were in black and background black, and I think it was somewhere in London with the light sort of thing. I was like, oh,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
right,
yes.
okay. Oh, wish I could do a handstand like that sort of thing. So, oh, fuck it, I'll give it a go. So
Let's
I've got
go.
nothing to
Yeah, yeah.
lose. Um, but now your brand is growing, shall we say, and I say you've got this global community, it gives you more authority because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many other people out
So
there
many, so
doing a
many.
very similar thing. Then it's getting, how do you get people to decide you and not them,
Yeah,
so to speak?
exactly. I think it's just being very honest with yourself and other people. That's what I want to believe in, Not many marketing tricks and this and that. Obviously, it does work, right? Because it's been proven to work. But what I really believe in and what I really value in the people that I work with is that transparency and just be honest with me. I'm going to be
Yeah,
honest with you. And hopefully, that's what's going to help me grow in terms of
yeah,
helping as many people as I can, because like we say, there's so much information out there, right? It's such a saturated market. So, yeah, everyone is kind of doing, well, I mean, not the same thing, but there's a
yeah,
lot of people in that industry, right? So yeah, yeah. Any feedback is like really appreciated. And you even noticing it, it's really important for me, you know? Um, like, oh, we
I
have a
must admit,
global.
the first phone call with Freddie, I'm like, who are you? Why are you in the States? She's in London. Is this a scam? What the hell's going on? Sort of thing. I've just
It's
signed up
really,
for this.
yeah.
Where's the money going? Sort of thing. Yeah.
It's really difficult though, isn't it? Because I myself don't trust many people online, you know?
Yeah.
And I also work with coaches and, I have mentors and everything. And it's always just like, oh, is it a scam? You know, like what do I
Yeah.
do now? But it's really difficult actually. And it's quite sad, I would say, that it's really hard to not make people feel that way, because
Well, it's just inbuilt. I mean, again, someone tried to hack credit card the other day, and someone said, "Well, that's not actually me." And it's just like, well, hang on a minute. You want to believe,
yeah.
but then you
But then
get
that
caught.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how you would make it more not authority or credible sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's just really difficult in this online world, like, and
Yeah.
I've worked with so many people, as in like me asking them for help,
Yeah.
and it is all the same. And I think you either like I don't want to say it's luck, because it honestly comes down to the systems that you have and, whether it looks a bit dodgy. But I've heard people, like even my dad almost got scammed.
Yeah.
'Cause someone was asking for his like credit card details or something on the phone, and then, like they just use your
Yeah.
emotional state at that point and just trying to get as much information as they can out of you. So it's just scary, Yeah.
And it's only get worse because now a friend, I taught years ago, now does AI, and he's like, no, that wasn't me. That was my avatar. And I'm like, what? It moved like you, it looked like you, and it talked. But he
That's scary.
sells avatars. That's his business. If you want a receptionist, he'll sell you a agent.
Literally oh my God, a clone. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and they are that good, and it's only going to get better. And it's just like,
Yeah. I've seen full on like Instagram pages, just AI. Just like
yeah,
people, but all of it is AI generated. And I'm like, what?
yeah. So
Yeah, but I also want to believe, that people still want that human aspect.
yeah,
That's
they
what
do. Yeah, they do.
I
Yeah.
stand for, and I think that's what differentiates us from an actual robot.